Welcome back to tristatefootball.com for this week's edition of Crossing the Goal Line. Myself, Brandon Saho, and Greg Shoemaker with you as always. And this week, we're going to take a look at the Ohio All-District players, a lot from the Cincinnati area, both offensively and defensively, as these were announced on Monday. We're going to go through all the divisions, starting in Division 1, where we have one on both sides of the ball. First off, offensively, L.A. Ransby, quarterback out of Colerain.
Yeah, he's our Southwest District Player of the Year. Monty Medeiros won it last year for Moeller. This year, Ransby, it's hard to argue with him. Over 1,500 yards passing and 1,400 yards rushing. A rare feat at Colerain, Brandon. Just a fantastic season for him. He's also had 4 games this season with over 100 yards rushing and over 100 yards passing in the same day. And even the last 2 weeks in the playoffs, he's done it. So, great year for him. And on the other side of the ball, Shane Jones from Moeller. The linebacker is the Defensive Player of the Year in the Southwest District. Shane's over 100 tackles on the season, 2 sacks, an interception, 2 fumble recoveries. He's headed to Michigan State, and his best days of football are still ahead.
Right, these two teams will face off. Colerain versus Moeller coming up this Saturday night at Nippert Stadium. So it should be interesting to see L.A. Ransby going against Shane Jones, as they both are going to be on their respective sides of the ball. Moving down to Division 2, we have a guy out of Mount Healthy, Tyree Elliott, who is the running back offensive player of the year.
Yeah, and you know what's really impressive about Elliott is he did most of his work in the first 7 games of the season, ran for over 1,100 yards. Before tearing his ACL, he was on pace for some big things. Ohio State had come down to look at him. Now with this torn ACL, you never know. Colleges may back off, but he's only a junior. He's got 1 more year back, and that's high accolades for Mr. Elliott there to come back and win this award after not playing last year as a sophomore. So good job by him. And then on the defensive side of the ball in Division II, you've got Michael McCray from Trotwood, Madison. He was our 2011 Dayton tristatefootball.com Defensive Player of the Year. He is headed to Michigan State. Just a fine, fine athlete.
And moving down to Division 3 now, we have one player who won Offensive Player of the Year out of Alter, who's at the QB spot, Malik Zaire.
Zaire really improved his stock this year throwing the football. Wasn't a good passer, never needed to be for Alter in years past. They have such a high running game or a high-powered running game, but this year, over 1,500 yards, over 20 touchdowns through the air for Zaire. He's headed to Notre Dame to play for Brian Kelly, and I'm going to tell you what, he's probably going to play sooner rather than later there.
And as we move down further down our list, see Frank Katrine, we saw him play for Fenwick at running back as they lost in the first round of the playoffs to Norwood a few weeks ago. But just a great all-around athlete, and he won Offensive Player of the Year in Division 4.
One of the toughest calls for all of us who voted for the all-district teams was the Offensive Player of the Year in Division 4. The Clinton Massey running backs, Wyatt Running and Bailey Wolf, sort of split their time, split their carries, and it enabled Frank Katrine to sneak in there. Over 2,300 all-purpose yards, 22 touchdowns, runs the ball, catches the ball, plays defense, and also handles punting duties for Fenwick. So Frank is only a junior. Again, another one of these juniors that had a big season and lots more to come for them in the future.
And speaking of juniors, we have Michael Barwick Jr., who led Summit Country Day to an undefeated regular season. And in Division 5, he was the Defensive Player of the Year. Just a junior like Katrine, has a bright future ahead of him, but has also accomplished many things this season.
Summit Country Day made the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, and Barwick is a huge reason. They only gave up 60 points during the regular season. Barwick was the man. 75 total tackles, 6 sacks, 5 fumble recoveries. Just a beast. UC, Ohio State, several other Big Ten schools already looking at this big guy. I expect big things from Summit Country today again next fall, especially with their quarterback, Antonio Woods, and his classmate coming back on the other side of the ball.
And as our last division here in Ohio, Division 6, Zach Higginbotham, linebacker, won Defensive Player of the Year.
A surpriser right here, the Cincinnati Country Day guy. He was a 3rd-team All-Ohio selection as a junior. He's going to ended up his career with well over 350 total tackles for the Indians. Just a fantastic player on both sides of the ball. Again, a small school player, plays every down. He plays a lot of running back as well for the CCD team, and it's just good to see a kid from this school win an accolade like this. Well deserved by Zach Higginbotham.
And don't forget to check out tristatefootball.com where you can find all of the Ohio All-District teams as they were just announced on Monday this week. And check us out on Facebook and on Twitter at TS Football.